Oi. Shuba-duba-dai. This blessed country, O land of beauty, I pray for thee. Some people have that wrong philosophy that politicians can save a country. They never try and do it spiritually. And now the system exploding on we. The country in a recession, a big change from the old time religion. Mankind rewriting history in a modern but a bad version. We living in our final days. Take a look and change your ways. For our beautiful country, going back to slavery days, only a prayer for the land can stop drug violence and crime. A prayer for the land, yes, these are the signs of the end of time. A prayer for the land, the price of living, man, is so high. A prayer for the land, that even the rich like the poor cry. You say you're concerned and care, we country living in fear, but all are we born right here. So let's say a prayer, the Almighty Father will hear. And I see,
Shed alive, shed alive.
Boy. Shuba-duba-dai. Oh God Almighty, show some mercy on this our country. Moral standard gone way down the drain. Little children using rum, crack and cocaine. It seems like wicked-itions gone insane, and everyone playing the dirty game. Too much guns and drugs in the country, owned by Tom, Dick and Harry. But if you're wrong, you must pay for it, for the law, no one above it. Put an end to victimization, oppression and segregation. It's not a good thing for this country, so let's try and wipe it out totally with a prayer for the land, of fire and brimstone go burn with it. A prayer for the land, some say they're picking out who should get bail. A prayer for the land, and that's why the prisoners burn down the jail. A prayer for the land, one day it must prevail. Please don't let this country become an next Haiti. No peace, no unity. Bow down humbly, the Almighty will answer it. Oh yeah. Shuba-duba-dai. Oh God Almighty, show some mercy on this our country. They now call we terror Paradise Island. No longer a country where peace abound. Yes, I used to boast about my land of beauty, the freest nation with democracy. But now we are the capital for drug pushers and money launderers. Shame and scandal is on we, take its name tarnish universally. Some blame it on the politicians for the unstabilized conditions. We going from bad to worse, Our blessed country now cross, but a prayer for the land will help us to live with other people. A prayer for the land, for that's why the nation in big trouble. A prayer for the land, united we stand, divided we fall. A prayer for the land, citizens answer your duty call. Righteousness exalts the nation. The most I hate poor man depression. So I'm calling on everyone to take a stand. Take it, listen to my song. Did a bad boy, shuba duba die. What? This blessed country, oh land of beauty, I pray for thee.
Sounds of the Mighty Quake. That one is called A Prayer for the Land by the man Mighty Quake. Yes, I'm DJ Mauricio, and I'm coming to you from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Yes, I'm still here in the Federation of St. Kitts Neighbors doing my thing. And this evening, we're coming to you with a continuation from the program last week. And, you know, for those of you who enjoy your Easter weekend, I hope you guys had a fun time like we did. We had a very good time there last Friday down at the Breeze Park there in Newton Ground, where we celebrated the Garpy Day, the first annual session for Brother Garpy. It was very nice. I'll give you some update on that in a bit. But we also had some folks listening online and calling across the globe, telling them DJ Mauricio is online, DJ Mauricio saying this, DJ Mauricio saying that. Some stories was accurate, some was false information, but we're going to deal with that this evening. But before we get into the conversation and everything like that, I like to start the program off on the right track. And, you know, this is about the time of the year some years ago, back in 22 during the election campaign, where I was getting my blows, and they had me labeled at the time as the enemy of the state, though I was doing the works of the Almighty, doing my part to save us from where we was going down. So I have this track here by my boy Sakroti. This one is called Enemy of the State. As a matter of fact, this is one of my favorite songs, next to Killer on the Road and those things. I just love this track. So let's take a listen to the King Sakro. This one is called Enemy of the State.
Enemy. I'm not the enemy. Are you the enemy? Who is the? Are you the enemy? I'm not the enemy. Who's the enemy? Enemy, 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 enemy. Oh, la la la, la 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 la. I'm an educator. Your historian, the unpaid advisor to government and opposition. I bring you songs of levity, party and social commentary. In other lands, I am a cultural icon, but due to my proclivity to expose the ills of my country, they designate me an enemy of the state. But it's my love for country that make me question the things I see going wrong. Like the crime rate that keep on going up, that the PM says going down. Is he take a corrupt tip-off cop and made him the deputy? Between he and Edme, the police force can function effectively. Police used to work for 8 hours straight and went home to take a rest. Now this 4 hours on, 4 hours off, got the force in a mess. Is you who handcuff the police? Now they can't control the crime rate. So don't call me an enemy of the state. Anyone who critique your policies, you want their head on a plate. So tell me who's the real enemy of the state. I'm not the enemy. Are you the enemy? Who's the enemy? Tell me. I'm not the enemy. Are you the enemy? Who's the enemy? They tell me tourism is the lifeblood of the country. Still we keep increasing the budget to that ministry. But the more we spend on that industry, is the less result we do see. Now the whole country, it seems, waiting desperately till Marriott open its doors. 40,000 plus on pause. Can one hotel save us from catching hell? Oh well, what is my love for country that made me question the deal they gave Royal P? A $400 million hotel with their own electricity. If we upgraded we power plant, they would buy the current from we. $20 million or more yearly to sweeten the treasury. Then they tell me both are resigning, he not taking another turn. I said a jump and prance as a good riddance, for there's hope for tourism. His performance in that industry got hoteliers desperate, yet he treats me like an enemy of the state. From 500 ships in 95, now 158. So tell me who's the real enemy of the state?
Are
you the enemy? I'm not the enemy. Who's the enemy? Are you the enemy? Minister of Justice, oh, can you tell me why Angela Innes is not paid what the court decree? When she was making her contributions, you were nowhere to be found. Now she's squanting while you're buying up condominium. You also got Concy Mitchum, a first female parliamentarian, still can't get her gratuity and pension. But it's my love for country that make me question this bold-faced hypocrisy. Your actions are simply degrading the women of this country. I hope that Jason Henry Martin don't support your policy. But what goes around come back around, no matter whom you may be. These women serve with distinction and should get their due respect. Not scandalize and victimize. To this action I object. Your actions, Mr. AG, means all women must subjugate, and that makes you an enemy of the state. If you taking orders from Dougie, it means you eating from the same plate. So tell me who's the real enemy of the state? Oh, watch me now. I'm not the enemy. Are you the enemy? Who's the enemy? I'm not the enemy. Who is the enemy? Tell me. Almost every weekend is party, party, party. Soon we'll start the campaigning with Barris and Byron Lee, while the bell tolling at SSMC and tourism catching hell. One night at Jane Frost costing more than a hotel. Then IMF tell Douglas Plain he must raise taxes again. So who got cocoa in sun? Look out for rain. Yes, it's my love for country that made me question the state of the economy. We could well use the 36 million you spent on the inquiry, and yet you take up the best Gulf Coast and sell out to Royal P. Botha was not in favor of that one, and with him I must agree. You are the leader of this country, but to lead effectively, you must listen to suggestions from Calypsonia like me. If I'm the only one in the country to pinpoint your mistake, does that make me an enemy of the state? Sandra Byron no longer boos me, cause she knows I don't deal with hate. So maybe you're the real enemy of the state. The jury's out on you. You know what? You ain't come to the circus as yet. We're still waiting. Are you the enemy? Who's the enemy?
Yeah, that's the sounds of the man Socrates, the King Socrates, enemy of the state. And this was back in the days when the Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas was Prime Minister some years ago. Socrates was on the attack. Basically, every opportunity he get to pen a song. But when the Unity Construct step in, as we all know, he's a PAM supporter, so everything was nice. Everything that was wrong under Labour that he sang about became right. So tonight, you know, we're going to go down memory lane. Just as last week, I got under some of your skin, this week ain't going to be no different because we're going to go down memory lane. This past Easter weekend, for those of you who might have been out there partying and having a good time, maybe you guys forget 2020, 2021, during the lockdown, when the Pampers Fag, the former Prime Minister, had us locked down with no regard for human. Everybody doing as they please. Everybody who is his friends and family have to get out. They become, what they call them, essential workers. While the real essential workers get knocked out, never get their, what they should get in my view. You know, stimulus after stimulus was approved, but yet people still waiting today for their stimulus. So before I get into the meat of the matter, you guys heard the song. I'm pretty sure by the end of the night, I will be the enemy of the state because I talk the things them straight and plain. I don't twist. This is not the state of affairs. This is, according to the Attorney General, Brother Garth Wilkie, he said this is the DJ Marisha Parliament. So I am the Speaker of the House this evening, and I'm coming to you live and direct here from the bunker here in St. Paul. I want to big up my boy, the big man, G.A. Dwyer Astafan, the man Sam Kanda, Larry Vaughan, Ira McMahon, Dr. Martin, the big JL, Curtis Crook. How about my boy, the big Ike, the man there, Brother Rabuka, the man Lincoln Hapson. I hope all is well. How is your mom? And everybody, hope all is well with you. I want to touch my uncle in St. Croix, the man Eustace Hutchinson. Hope all is well with you. Kishma and the kids. I also want to touch my brother there, Brother Carl Morris. I understand he's back into the Virgin Islands from the Atlanta area wherever he went travel over the holidays. Big up sister Belicia Morris. Hope all is well with you. Brother Brown, Avon Brown, Patsy Brown, Ma, Ralph, and the crew. The man there, Dennis Morris there, the man Briscoe in the St. Thomas area, and George Morris there in the Florida area. Let me touch a few folks online before I get into the meat of the matter, because we have a driving force tonight. We're going to get to the meat of the matter and out of here. Ivor Henry, you see I start a few minutes before 6. The message is to tell you I'm starting on time. 8 o'clock, I'm out of here. So I want to say good evening to Sister Cora Bennett. How are you doing? Thanks for your usual support. Want to big up my engineer, the man Ike out of TNT. I would hope that everything is okay with you and the family, because I know how the weather is there in New York, in the Brooklyn area. So I'm hoping that all is well with you there and your family. Thanks for your continued support. Without you, Ike, this program will not be anything. So I appreciate your hard work and your commitment to the DJ Marisha platform. I also want to big up my boy, the man Lord Kent. Brother Kent, how are you doing there? And you're in Harlem. I got your message about your son getting into an accident. I hope all is well with him and the rest of the family. I want to big up my girl, Debbie. Hope all is well with you guys. The man, Tony Hendrickson, Joseph Hendrickson. Hope all is well with you. I want to touch my boy, Julian Pemberton. We have not been able to link. I saw something yesterday. Seems to be a funeral or something for a firefighter or someone from the forces. Condolences to everyone who has death in the family. Something that has been bothering me for the past couple of days. There's a friend of mine who was a police officer from Sandy Point by the name of Lennox, Shorty brother. He was stationed here at the St. Paul's police station for some time. And whenever he comes to New York, they make sure they come and visit me. I'm in St. Kitts. He makes sure that he reach out to me. And I saw him sitting on the wall not too long ago, just a few weeks ago. I come into Sandy Point, flying coming home, and I saw him sitting on the wall in the area where he lived. And I just decided, well, I'll catch up with him at some other point. And I saw his sister last week telling me her brother passed away. And I still did not put things together to realize that it's the same person that passed away. And today was his funeral at the Anglican Church in Sandy Point. And I just couldn't make that funeral. So again, I'm saying to you folks, you know, if you love someone, you care about someone, make the time, take the time, do the best you can, share the love. Because you never know when you're going to get that phone call. Anybody had told me that Lennox would not be with us today, I would not believe that. Because the gentleman did not look sick to me. If he's sick, he carried well. So Lydia, Hanley, and the rest of the family, condolences to you guys. I apologize for not making it to the funeral today. Just was out of reach for me. But I'm here and I'm going to do the best that I can do. Good evening to the Manchester Watson. Hope all is well. Shavante Huggins. Linda Butcher, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Good evening. Chara Queen. Now it's Duggins. Yvonne Jeffords, how are you doing? Where in the world are you? Are you in the UK? What time is it there? How is the weather? Good evening, Brother Bouncer Francis. Hope all is well. Daslin Weeks. Chara Queen. Hope all is well with you. Brother Thaddeus Deposter, good evening. How are you doing, my brother? Elvis Marisha, welcome to the ride. Livy Brown. Kejan Bridgewater. George Henry, welcome to the ride. Monica Brown. Brother George Nisbet, I know you're listening from somewhere around the world. God knows where you are. Oliver Jenkins, the Royal St. Christopher Navy's Police Force. Wow, we got some monitoring going on here. Linda Clark, good evening. Justin Stacey, glad to it. My mascot there, Dorothy Allen, welcome to the ride. Ermin Evelyn, welcome. Trevor Zakers, Sylvia Ward, James Malanga Kelly, how are you doing, brother Kelly? Hope all is well. Pat Brooks, Lavinston Brown, Sean Jeffords, Clayton Thomas, and Buddy in the Virgin Islands. Welcome, Mark Doe, Avril Dickinson, welcome, Mona Davis. My son there, Jeffroy Jr., Jim Marisha, welcome. How is the folks there in the LA area? How is Sister Jazz? Linda Clark, Multin Keynes, Shakespeare, how are you doing, brother Shakespeare? I don't know whether you're in St. Kitts or in New York, brother Shakespeare. After the program, when I sign off, I'm going to give you a call. If you don't hear from me, please give me a call. We need to touch base. We have not spoken in a bit. Joyce Henry, welcome to the ride. Kevin Chapman, welcome to the ride. Sandra Thompson, Patrice Hazel, Clayton Davis, Patricia Hazel, Christopher Williams, how are you doing, my brother? How is your mom? Hope all is well. Big up Sister Cavell for me. Centric Daniel, my brother there, Jeff Pemberton, how are you doing, my brother? How is the weather in the UK? One of my big supporter there, Sister Hazel Claxton, hope all is well. I hope you're feeling much better. Hugh Coleman, Winston Williams, hope all is well with you guys. Well, as you heard me said, the past weekend here, Easter weekend in St. Kitts, it's been a while I have not really participated in anything or spent time in St. Kitts to enjoy the Easter. And today, because I have to rush to this program, you guys stopped me from getting my pear. Well, we call it pear in St. Kitts, you all call it avocado in the US or in the UK. I asked a gentleman yesterday to get me some avocado. And he told me, man, I have your stuff, but I left them at home. And I said, okay, make sure you have them for tomorrow. So I look forward to my avocado for today, but I miss them because I have to be here in time to speak to you folks. This time back in 2020, you know, we had a lot of lockdowns, and we had a then non-caring prime minister who had no problem telling you guys, telling us what we're going to do or not do. So let's take a listen back then, what we had to deal with for the Easter weekend.
That from Thursday night this week and continuing over the Easter weekend, including Good Friday, Saturday, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, until Thursday morning, no one should be away from their residence unless he or she has a special exemption as an essential worker or has a pass or permission.
Well, you see, back in them days, that is what they tell us. You're locked down for the whole weekend. You're not supposed to leave to go any place. The fishermen who had the boat and the traps could not go and ply their trade. Even the people need food to eat, which was a dumb thing to do. Folks who had their farm and the animals in the farm could not go and take care of their business. So they must leave the animal to die. It took a lot of fight and a lot of vigor from people such as myself and other individuals on social media to get some things changed so that we can bring some stability into the country. No kind of planning. Just use the opportunity for them to do their thing. As a matter of fact, many of you, if you were paying attention, there was a picture with the then Prime Minister and former Deputy Prime Minister and some other crew who are non-governmental individuals and a veranda, I understand, someplace in Sandy Point drinking wine while they locked down the country. So they was able to do their boys and boys things, enjoy their boyhood, but everybody else was locked down. Hope you all remember those days, because it was a very serious time. But more so than that, when things got a bit too hot, there's a few brave people that decided they're going to do a little demonstration, bring some awareness to the pain and suffering that the people was dealing with in the country. And what those crew was met with, as a matter of fact, my boy there, Brother Shaq, the model cop, was one of the 3 individuals that got arrested, pre-independence or independence evening, whatever it was. And not only they arrested 3 or 4 people for carrying a simple placard, they said the placard was actually on the ground at the time when the people was arrested. But the tear gas right in front of the church there on Church and Central Street, Church and Kearn Street, sorry. Right in front of a church, I understand whoever ordered the strike, they threw the tear gas from inside the churchyard, no place else. Now, you're going to do criminal activities against your people who are already going through whatever pain from COVID, but you're going to tear gas them and you're going to launch your attack from a churchyard. People, all of you today who want to be cussing about what is going on and what's not going on, these are the things that we have to recall. What we had then and what we have now. I am not going to sit here on this platform or this parliament chair, as the ages call it, and say everything is going perfect. As a matter of fact, this week a few people asking me questions. Mr. Mauricio, how you think things going? And I tell them straight up, I can tell you about what I've accomplished under this new administration, the amount of things that have been accomplished under this new administration. But I cannot tell you how everybody feels. Everybody has their own issues. Everybody have their own expectations. So I am not going to tell nobody how to think and how to feel. I will ask people to be rational. Think about the situation. Think about what you're requesting. Think about what you're demanding and see if it's something that really makes sense, if it really is doable. It doesn't matter which government going to office. There's going to be people that are going to have their own views of stuff. But what we got to keep in mind is that you elect these people to do a particular job. They had a manifesto. And the situation is this. When you go to the polls, you know why you went there. When I went to the polls, not expecting to make a dent because Dr. Douglas did not need my vote to win his seat. But I voted for the first time in 2022 because of my mission, and I wanted to be a part of history with the change. What the former Prime Minister was doing to this country was real criminal to me, and I had to deal with it. As a matter of fact, you heard me spoke about the arrest of 3 of our citizens and the tear gassing. What I don't understand then, and what I still don't understand now, and I would hope one day, Prime Minister Joe, when he's having his wine with Premier Brantley, that he could ask Premier Brantley a question, because Premier Brantley at the time was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Patches Liebert, Ian Patches Liebert, was our ambassador to the United Nations in New York. And we all know what the United Nations is all about. Human rights, civil rights, and all this kind of stuff. Sam Kanda was there as well, so they know what it is. So tear gassing your citizens who are not in any way trying to overthrow government or create any unrest is against those charters, right? So I still want to know, when people like Premier Brantley, who was the Premier of Nevis, who was part of the triathlon, tri-party, whatever you want to call it, the team unity construct. When I reach out to Timothy Harris, the Prime Minister then, he refused to take my calls. When I tried to reach out to Premier Brantley, never took my call. Reach out to Sean Richards, never took my call. And all I wanted to know, what is going on in St. Kitts Nevis? Why are our citizens arrested for carrying a placard? Why are our citizens being tear gassed for standing up? Prior to 2015, I heard the news, I see the pictures on social media, where the then ministers in opposition who trying to get into office was traveling all around the island, harassing Curtis Martin at the time, who was the Speaker of the House under a Labour administration. He traveling through the park, coming with his kids from school, whatever. They march with placard and make noise and whatever. So if it was okay then for Timothy Harris them not only to demonstrate here in St. Kitts, they travel, I understand, to St. Vincent and elsewhere, had other people there carrying placard that they didn't even know what they're demonstrating about. But they said somebody tell them to hold up the placard and they hold it up. When the journalists asked them what they're demonstrating, and they did not even know. This is what we had as a farmer administration. They got in there, they make their promises, and all they do is knock about our people. You understand? And I stayed back in New York and tried my best, since I could not locate anyone in St. Kitts. The only person who really answered my call was Vance Emery. God bless his soul. And I still have the WhatsApp message that he sent me, thanking me for reaching out, but letting me know he's not an elected member in Parliament. He's providing a service at the request of Timothy Harris. So there's nothing he could have done or say. The people in Parliament and in Cabinet was the people to deal with the matter. You know, and anybody, whenever you see me and you want to see the WhatsApp, I can show it to you. You know, Vance Emery had a problem with the arrest. He had a problem with the tear gas, but there's nothing he could have done. And when I tried to reach out to our lazy representative there in New York, Alva Pemberton, supposed to be representing the diaspora at the mission, I couldn't get nothing out of Alva. You know? Couldn't get a straight answer out of Alva. And I tried to get in touch with Ian Patches Liebert, my good friend. Then he's my good friend again, by the way. We're talking again, right? Patches refused to take my call, refused to return my call. I decided to go down to the mission in Manhattan, as you guys know. It was all over social media. Did my little demonstration. Had folks like Naomi Batcher and Sheila Barrett and Joseph Buchanan, Olivia Dickinson, God bless her soul, she passed, her sister, a young lady there from the Newtown area, I can't bring her name at the moment. But people were so scared of this former Prime Minister. They're afraid to talk in St. Kitts, they're afraid to talk in the States. Wherever they are, they're quiet. What is surprising to me today is that everybody have mouth. Everybody got tongue and teeth getting along again. And I ask these questions, my good people. And you all see me walk in the street daily or weekly, and I'm quiet. That is the Maorisha. But when I'm here, I am the messenger from God, right? I am talking the things them and trying to bring a conversation that we could try and fix our little nation. We're small, but we're Talawa. And one of the things that the former administration did very well was the propaganda machine they had. This program they had on a Tuesday night called Leadership Matters, have the same people calling in week after week trying to send the message home, while the rest of us just sit back and listen, because we had no control over it. They control ZSZ, they control the media, they control everything, they control the purse. That's the kind of thing that was happening then. That's not happening today. So I do not know why people are so hyped and so angry when things are happening. A lot of the damage that was done is being repaired, cannot be repaired overnight. We're still less than 2 years into a Labour administration. I don't know, we all realize that. You all stay quiet for 7.5 years while we get knockbout after knockbout from the Team Unity construct, which was comprised of the People's Labour Party, led by Timothy Harris, the then Prime Minister, the People's Action Movement, PAM, led by Sean Richards, who was the Deputy Prime Minister, and Premier Mark Brantley of the CCM and Nevis, who was the Premier at the time, who is now the Premier of Nevis still, who is also the leader of the opposition in the new opposition in your parliament here. Things nice and sweet with them. They're drinking wine and having a good time. They're hanging out. It's like it's a boys' club now. Everybody partying. But people out there crying. And the reality is, people meeting me in the street asking me, boy, what you think about Big Lies this, Big Lies that? What can I think about Big Lies? Big Lies is my partner. I have listened to Big Lies conversations. And like they say about the child, you know, they say children might not bring the story straight, but there's some truth in the story. So to answer you all about the Big Lie situation, I do not know which part is truth and which part is false. But if you really listen to the stories that Big Lies is bringing forth, some truth got to be in there somewhere. Would I have done it the way that Big Lies is doing it? The answer is no. And the main reason I would not have done it the way Big Lies is doing it, because Big Lies profess to be a friend of the Prime Minister. Big Lies profess to be a supporter of the Prime Minister. And I would say to Big Lies, if you are really a friend to Prime Minister Joe and want to see Prime Minister Joe do well, I'm reminding you, Prime Minister Joe is the leader of the Labour Party. Prime Minister Joe is the Prime Minister of the Federation under a new Labour administration. There was 11 seats contested, 11 federal seats contested in the Federation. 3 are Nevis, 8 and St. Kitts. 3 seats was 1 in Nevis in the opposition. 2 was 1 in St. Kitts in the opposition, which leave the other 6. So the Labour won by a narrow 1 seat majority. So, Brother Big Lies, my question to you is, if you really love your Prime Minister, Dr. George Buckley, and you really want to see him survive and do well, trying to destroy 1 or 2 of his parliamentarians for whatever reason does not add up, you know. It really does not add up. Because if one of those persons drop, whether the man from number 3, the man from number 4, the man from number 6, the man from number 1, the lady from number 2, we're going into a by-election. The opposition have 5. They only need 1 to swing the government, you know. So I have not reached out to you, Brother Big Lies, as yet, because I really don't want to get caught up in the weary and stuff like that. But I think you and I are good enough friends to have the conversation and to really find out what is it you're trying to accomplish. Because I want to help you, Brother Big Lies. You might say you don't need my help, but I want to help you through this period. You do what you had to do. You're no longer the advisor, I understand. And again, I heard you saying that you really was paid as an advisor, but you wasn't giving any advice. You wasn't given any opportunity to give advice. And I could understand that as well. A lot of that going on. Many people sitting down and satisfied getting paid without doing work. I'm happy to know that you want to work. We're supposed to get work and get paid. You know, not sit down and get paid. You know, I listen to many people complaining about the pap and the pep and the step and the this and the that. I don't have time to get into those things because I do not know if it's sustainable with those programs. What I know is that there are many needy people, real needy people, real sick people that can use the help that some of you strong individuals are getting and not appreciative of it, right? So as I said, tonight, I'm not going too deep into anything because we have a very short span. It's going to be 2 hours tonight. It's not going to be not 3 hour, 4 hour shift tonight. And I'm going to drop a clip here. And this clip is when I was trying to get in touch with Prime Minister Harris back in the day, during the COVID era, when people getting arrested and getting tear gas. And since I could not get him to have a private conversation, I decided to go public. I keep calling in on a Tuesday night and ZIZ and couldn't get through. But this particular night, I use a different phone and the call slipped through. And as you listen to this conversation, you're going to hear them trying to hang up the call, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get the call hung up. And I started off by saying to them, I know how the technology works. So when you all hang up the call, don't tell me the call dropped. I work at ZIZ, I know how things go. So let's take a quick listen to back then.
I know the technology when we're having conversation that is not pleasing how they drop out. But anyway, Mr. PM, I am still waiting for the opportunity to meet with you, whether in person or virtually. There's a lot that is happening in the Federation. I don't need to tell the people of the good that is happening. I think you have said enough. So I will say what I am concerned about. I listened to Mr. Gift spoke about how the taxes are being utilized for the country. But one thing I see that he left out is that those taxes pays the government workers, including the politicians and everything like that. So I would like him to make sure he clear up that our good taxes also go that. I have some issues as someone in the diaspora here, where we are hearing a lot of things happening in the Federation. And we have a missing in action ambassador to the UN here in the likes of Mr. Ian Patches-Liebert, who seems to want to choose which citizen he will meet with. I have been trying to reach Mr. Patches now since the 23rd of August, and I'm able to get up into our mission, where prior to this government, I was able to walk up into the mission and speak to anyone up there, secretary, set up a meeting and say what we have to say. All citizens are entitled to meet with our people. That seems to be a problem under this unity government. And as I have said on my program weekly, I am one who supported the change of government, because when I spoke with you, Mr. PM, your manifesto, your position in what you plan to do when you get into government sounded great. But since the arrival of this Team Unity administration, there's a lot of loose balls throwing. You have said openly and privately to me that you expect us to hold your foot to the fire and your government foot to the fire when you're going off track. And I have done so because of my love for the Federation, because for my love for you as a friend, and I want to see this government do well. If this government do well, then our country is doing well. So in the event that we are seeing things that is not working out, I think we as citizens here in the diaspora should tell you. And what Alva Pemberton and Ian Patches-Liebert is doing here in the New York area is not representing the Federation properly, Mr. PM. I know that over 98% of us have common sense, and even 10% of us have common sense. And I have been trying to reach out to Mr. Liebert to speak to him about his statement. I've been trying to reach you, Mr. Prime Minister, unable. If Mr. Keela Byron check her WhatsApp message, she realized I sent her a message last week asking for an audience with her to speak about certain things that I can do to assist in that ministry where entertainment is concerned. I have yet to hear back from Mr. Keeler Byron. Mr. Prime Minister, I have one final thing to say to you, and I would hope that you can answer me straight tonight. Because during your time trying to get into office, I supported your efforts with your demonstration trying to march in the name of peace and unity in the Federation. I understand you reach as far as St. Vincent with your placard, democracy, no peace. So why is it that our citizens today in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis cannot say to the government that we don't like this, we don't like that, we need this, we need that, or cannot stand on the sidewalk peacefully with a placard and not been arrested, tear gassed, misled? These folks has been arrested since the 20th of August. We are now in November. There are all kind of people that I know coming for music festival and cut a simple bad word. And by the next day, they're in front of a judge, they pay the fine, and they're gone back to America with our dollars. Why is it these people are still going through this stress, not knowing their fate for something that, in my view, is a right that they have? I am in North America, I am a Kittitian, I am a Paul's man, and I could walk down in the middle of Manhattan and walk with a placard and say what I have to say. No democracy, no peace, do this, do that. Nothing is done to me or my other colleagues. Why is it in our federation where we say a country of peace abound, country above service of a motto that our people cannot speak, Mr. PM? I am asking you, Mr. PM, to reach out to me. Let's have a one-on-one, because I don't want to disrespect you on this program. I want to speak to you where we have an open one-on-one conversation and understand each other. So there's a lot more that I have to say, but I'm not going to say.
So that was one of my call into the Leadership Matters program that the Prime Minister then Harris had. And that was my only opportunity to vent how I felt about the situation with the arrest of 3 of our citizens and the tear gas of our citizens. And to date, I know that I think I heard something about the Magna Cup case was completed. I don't know about the other 2 ladies. I understand one of the young ladies that was arrested for the whole weekend even had a young baby at the time. And these people had no kind of love for our people. They treat us like animals. They were savage towards us when everybody was quiet. But that was DJ Marisha calling in from New York to the Leadership Matters program. And like I said, you know, I always respect Sam Kanda and love Sam Kanda. And I used to follow his lead. So when Sam Kanda decided to join with Timothy, the PLP, I took a listen. Like I said, I love to observe. And why I was able, and this is food for thought for the new Prime Minister, Dr. Joe. When people are reaching out to your Prime Minister Joe, take the time out and hear them out. Do not make the mistake of Dr. Douglas. I swear Dr. Douglas made his mistake. Denzel Douglas, my village man, my friend, my family. When he started out as Prime Minister, he started out well. He used to make time. He used to sit on the bridge with me when I come to St. Kitts, right down across from his house. We drink a Dragon Stout or a Mackerson, and we have a conversation. We talk about old-time days. We relate. But he became Prime Minister, and he met new friends. So people like me, he had no time to hear from. And there's a particular barber shop in New York, in the Bronx. I'm not going to call names tonight because you all know me. I'm going to give you the information, and I'm going to leave it at that. Because you all know, any one of them come after this DJ, you all know I'm quite capable of fixing theirs, right? But there was a particular barber shop that I used to go to cut by here in New York. And this particular barber shop owner, whenever you go there, he had this spreadsheet of, according to him, Prime Minister Douglas bank statements. There was canceled check, copies of canceled check that he claimed for Prime Minister Douglas. And I'm a boy Lennox, but don't like to hear me call the name of this program, you know. But Lennox is a witness if he wants to be a witness. Lennox experienced it just like me. Lennox got there, and Lennox had the same documents I'm talking about. Right? And this guy was out there maligning Dr. Douglas. And this DJ picked up the phone and called Dr. Douglas' house. Leave several messages with the security for Dr. Douglas to get back to me. And Dr. Douglas, up until today, did not return my call. So when the shit hit the fan about some 83,000 and 93,000 that was supposed to be in his son's name and was in his name and the this and the that and the that, Dr. Douglas allowed himself to get caught up in that propaganda because he did not respect his foot soldiers and the people that were supporting him. Prime Minister Joe, take warning, learn from Dr. Douglas' mistakes. When people are talking, listen. You don't have to act on everything that they say. I mean Big Lies and anyone else who is talking. To you, they might be chatting fat, but listen to what they're saying. Some of these people you have around you that you say is advisors, I am of the view, they're not advising you to do good, you know. They're there to bring you down. I have seen some of the situations, and I am of the view that some of them does not have any love for you, Prime Minister Joe. And I'm saying the same thing to Big Lies. If he's preaching his love for you and love for the Labour Party and want to see you do well, the road he's on, he need to divert. He need to take a different road. That dirt road is too bumpy. Tell him come back on a paved road because he got in some chance there. He might get stuck in some mud. You know, they got quicksand in some of these countries. So, Brother Lice, time for us to have that conversation. Take a break, take a breather. You got a new wife. I have not seen her in person, but I'm pretty sure she must be a lovely lady because you love nice things. You love good things. Take care of your family. Focus on your family. Refocus. Let's refocus. The country is under your leadership. A lot of things have not stabilized. This is, I would say, in my view, the worst messaging of a political party. No matter all the good that has been done under this Labour administration, the messaging out there is just poor. You got to keep playing catch up and respond to breaking news. You got the information out there. You guys know what you all have done. Get it out there. Get it in the public arena. Why is so much smut? Why is so much fake news out there? You know, let's refocus and let the people know the good things that you guys have done. I'm going to play a clip here now. And this clip, I choose to play this one because I actually, when I came out of quarantine in 2020, I spoke with Socrates a couple of days before he came out of quarantine. And he asked that he's the first one to get the opportunity to interview me based on everything that went down. And I gave him that opportunity because we were good friends. And if you got a breaking news story, good to give it to, but you're a good friend. And during that interview, a good friend of mine in the UK as well, Chris Collins, we are always joking around and messing with each other. And we was on the topic about whether they should have carnival or should they have a Calypso show, whatever. For those of you who was following me back then, you would have known that I did the first virtual show, Calypso show, Labor Day weekend, and everything went well. So I was campaigning whether it's going to be a virtual show or an in-person show. You cannot just shut down Carnival like that. We had the medium of doing a virtual show. But Chris Collins had messaged Socrates according to Socrates' message because he didn't call in. He was messaging on WhatsApp. And Socrates said, Chris Collins make a statement about not having any carnival. And at the time, I responded to Socrates by saying, don't worry with Chris. Them they don't have no money to come home, so they don't care whether they got carnival or not. Because I already hear them say, they're not gonna come home, come get locked up in the quarantine and pay all this money to hotel and whatever. So I understood. Some people felt that way. But some people wanted to feel the way for me as well. They want to direct me. So because they don't want to come and stay in quarantine and spend money, I shouldn't do it either. So enough of them was cussing me online. And when I said they were cussing me, I did not mean Chris was cussing me. But a lot of them had a lot to say, and I don't forget what they were saying. Chris also went on further to say, a king has no honor in his own country during the interview, based on the things I was saying. And I respond to Socrates by saying, well, I am no king. I don't want to be king of any country. But I was going to play my role in bringing the truth to the people. Because what we were getting from the government at the time, in my view, were fake news. And while the government was telling the people to ignore the fake news from people like myself, they was actually sharing the fake news. And what got me going into overdrive against the government at the time is when I see the plain lies that they were telling. So during those two interviews, one on Win FM with Socrates, one on Freedom FM, because the big JL reached out to me and said, boy, Marisha, I heard your interview with Socrates and I think you need to get some mileage on that. So could you stop by Freedom? I will have Andre Huey interview you. I said, no problem, JL. So I went there and got interviewed by Andre Huey. And what got me so pissed off, my good people, I'm going to play the clip in a bit. But I want folks to understand what was happening back then. While lockdown in New York for the better part of 4 or 5 months, I want us to understand that the COVID breakout in the New York area, in the Yonkers area, it was at a Jewish funeral when the COVID really broke out. And in March of 2020, when they decided the whole world gonna shut down, no flying, it was not an easy time for people. And in preparation to open back up borders, if you listen to what the St. Kitts Nevis Task Force, the Prime Minister with his leadership matters on a Tuesday night, if you listen to what they were presenting, it was nice. It was great. Situations such as they're going to build this nice welcome center. I understand costs over some $2-3 million to be built at the RLB. It was built. Somebody gets a couple $1 million to build it. They also said in that center, you're going to have different sections where when you come in on arrival, you will be tested. And if you are negative, you will go to the next level while you exit and process to your quarantine. But if you're positive, you will go into the isolation room and be directed according as well. And according to them, then you're paying $100 for 2 tests. A test upon arrival and a test upon leaving quarantine, $100. Yeah, if they want to change their mind, they could change their mind, but that's what they was advertising. They were advertising that you're going to get some kind of tracker. You will have a tracker to track you wherever you go. They also say you're going to get, when you come in, you're going to be able to upload an app on your phone, your mobile app, where they can communicate with you and track you. A whole bunch of stuff they offered. Sounds great. DJ Marisha wanted the opportunity to experience everything that they were saying. So DJ Marisha decided he's going to be on the first trip down to St. Kitts. Back then, they said you have to stay in a quarantine. OTI was the designated quarantine for the government. All other hotels, you got to negotiate with them. Well, DJ Marisha tried to get into the OTI. OTI wasn't available. DJ Marisha have a place locked down in St. Kitts, in St. Paul's. DJ Marisha reached out to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister said that I should call Abdiel Samuels will be able to accommodate me in the arrangement, right? That's what he said. When I called Abdiel Samuels to discuss getting to stay at my place for quarantine, Abdiel Samuel explained to me, boy, Marisha, I don't know about that, you know. That's something that cabinet have to discuss. They have not approved that as yet and whatever. In the meantime, it's either OTI or one of the other hotels. If you want to stay at home, we're gonna have to get back to that. A couple days later, you know, while I'm waiting to hear from Abdiel Samuels, this is what I heard coming from Prime Minister Harris.
I will continue to protect the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is why we say the borders close. Borders close.
We not got no time for labor. Just come out election day. Make sure you put the X in the right place. Family.
The borders of St. Kitts and Nevis are closed to protect you who are here. And those who are compelled to come for any reason, 14 days. You're not going in nobody's house. You're not going in nobody's car. 14 days you're going to be in lockdown. That is the rule. And at the end of the 14 days, you get a test. And if the test ain't come back good, you're in lockdown again. The borders are closed.
That from Thursday night.
So that was the then Prime Minister, sorry, having a genuine conversation with the Prime Minister about accommodation at my home. Me ain't going in my house. Me ain't going in my car. I'm going into somebody quarantine, go spend how much ever money I don't have. But tonight, you know, tonight I want to say in my local St. Paul's planner, Timothy Harris, I took my 14 days at the Royal St. Kitts. I took my 14 days at the Oali. You're going to take your 14 years, how much ever going to add on to it in opposition, you know, are you going to get out? No matter what you try, no matter what you come with, them 14 days you gave the DJ in quarantine going to multiply by the millions because you not got no place to go. You're not going in a government vehicle, neither pitch or before. You're going to continue to be in opposition until you retire from parliament. This I can assure you. And if I have to run to ensure you don't get in there one against you, you know, because it look like the people here don't know how to talk the things. I don't know what you're still doing in opposition or in parliament. People like you should have been arrested and disbanded from running for office. With all you have done to this country, you should be charged with treason. You should charge with crime against humanity. With what you did during COVID. I know some of your friends, them like my boy Monarch, he said he was joking when he said it. Monarch tell me you was the best prime minister ever. Best prime minister in the region. You had the formula for the COVID. You could battle it and sell it. Because you fool them off. You fool them off, tell them you get called from the White House. And the White House asked you to tell them how to deal with COVID. And you had to tell them how to deal with COVID. I got these clips saying about it, Timothy. I got my receipts them. And I'm not even going to waste time for them tonight. Because it's only going to take up the time that I don't have. But people actually believe the things when I say them. Right? People actually believe the things when you all say them. So at the end of the day, today, the people, like I said out there, that allow you all to mislead and knock out citizens in this country, they got a lot to say now. You know, I am guilty of a lot of things in my life. But one thing I know, I'm not guilty of mashing up this country. Even though some of them call me terrorists, enemy of the state. Everything I did then and everything I'm doing now is to help the country and help the people to the best that I can. I'm going to drop this clip from my interview at Freedom. You listen to the interview for yourself. What I am saying is from my experience, not from what I assume. These are my experience during COVID, because in 2020, the country was locked down for one reason and one reason only: for the then Team Unity administration, which comprised at the time of three parties: the People's Labour Party led by Timothy Harris, the People's Action Movement led by Sean Richards, and the CCM government led by Premier Brantley. It was election, they call election in the heart of COVID. And they figure locking down the country, the Labour and maybe the NRP have a lot of supporters out there that can come home and change the balance. So they lock them out. They figure they pay off everybody within the country here and within the region. So they lock it. They lock the country to ensure that they get another 5 years. But what they did not expect, they underestimate the little black boy from St. Paul's. Because the little black boy from St. Paul's, you know, promised Timothy Harris then, and my boy Bucky got it. You all know me partner, the Bucky. Bucky met me one day in St. Paul's, and Bucky tell me, Maurice, I got a problem with you, you know. I said, what the problem you have with me, Bucky? He said, you're calling on leadership matters and tell the Prime Minister you're going to try him in the public square. I said, Bucky, if the Prime Minister going to take 2 years to have a conversation with someone who was his friend, someone that supported the effort to become Prime Minister, and he's going to keep bullshitting me, I'm going to speak to the next Prime Minister and I'm going to try him in the public square. It was no disrespect. I tried him in the public square, and you the people. It's the real deal. I've said it time and time again. In his mind, in Timothy Harris' mind, he figured he get through in 2020. Election gone through. He don't need nobody after that. He got his 5 years. He don't expect election to come in 2022. And this DJ decide, if it kills me, you're not going to last till 2025. Remember the days when they have Douglas picture all over the place? He's sitting in the opposition and he go for lunch and they're asking him questions. And Douglas say he's sipping the water and minding the business. Douglas then wasn't ready for an election in 2022. They wasn't thinking about election. But election was on my mind. I sleep, wake up and dream election because 2020 was not a fair election. They knew it. Janelle came in his campaign. Janelle was the candidate for number 2. And you heard him said in 2022, he not into that no more. No more thieving of elections. They knew a lot of thieving went on. They all was in it together. But DJ Maurice decided, you know, I will not stop speaking to you, the people of our beloved Federation. Locally, regionally, and internationally. I will not stop. I didn't stop then. I'm not stopping now. I came to you all and I presented myself. You accepted me. You work with me. And we share ideas. That is what this program is about. Sharing ideas. Having a conversation. Not preaching. No propaganda. No lying. Like some of them. Conversation. Open up your minds to thinking. Miss Scholar there, Dwyer Astafan, you know. My scholar Dwyer Astafan in 2021. Him and Sam Kanda was on this platform. And Dwyer asked me a question because Dwyer thought I was crazy, you know. Dwyer said, Maurice, election was just last year in 2020. Election was just last year in 2020. How do you expect to have election in 2022 when the election is due in 2025? And I laughed when I thought about it. I said, Dwyer, there's some big stone around Old Road Bay. And I use the analogy of big stone because Curtis Cook labeled them as big stone, right? I said, do you think DJ Marisha can go around there and pick up one of them big stone and bring it to St. Paul's? Dwyer said no. I said, but if I get a 2-pound hammer, a chisel and a bucket and go around there every night and chip off stone nightly, don't you think I can move the stone to St. Paul's? And Dwyer say, yeah. But when Timothy fired the 6, Dwyer changed my name from Jeff Roy to Troublemaker. I like when I'm having this conversation because I know some of them who are out there listening quietly. A lot of them, Unity, PAM, PLP, whatever they be, NRP, CCM, they're out there listening quietly, But when I say certain things, it's like you trigger them, they got to come at you. My good partner here, Denzel Benjamin. I do not know what I do this gentleman, but I know he loves to hate me. But I love him. He's a good baseman. I always have nothing but love for Denzel. And look here. Brother Denzel Benjamin said, you're running against Timothy. I what? You for state my credential. Timothy was the best financial manager in the last 15 years who give SK credit rating and all this kind of stuff. Brother Denzel, in terms of running against Timothy, that is just talking. Just talking. I cannot go and run against Timothy up there in number what? What that is? Number 7. They got people that are going to do that, Brother Denzel. But I like to say these things because I'm going to pull out some of you out of the shadows. You're all out there, So the conversation, I'm happy that you are a part of the conversation, Denzel. But anyway, back to the business. Let's talk about what is happening today. So I'm going to drop this clip that when I was interviewed right out of quarantine and in 2020. And you see people like Denzel and them, they ain't coming St. Kitts to fight for nobody, They ain't gonna come out on the street in New York to fight for nobody, They're gonna sit around and they're gonna have all kind of talk quietly. But they're not gonna come here like me and defend the country. DJ Marisha gonna defend the country. Right or wrong, I'm gonna defend. But a lot of them, I want to believe that because Gloria Bristol is so in love with me and I'm so in love with Gloria Bristol, Denzel is in love with Gloria too, So I think he believes Gloria loved me more than him. But Denzel, you could have Gloria, right? Gloria is a former queen of Nevis, and she gonna be too high profile for me. I don't want to high profile people in my life. I want to be quiet. So you could have Gloria. So don't worry. You ain't gonna competition, Denzel. Okay? Let's take a listen to this interview.
We have as our next guest, we're going to let him introduce himself and then we'll get into our discussion for today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jeff Roy Marisha, aka DJ Marisha.
All right. And we have a very interesting discussion we want to get into, but I want you to give us a little background of yourself and then we get into the discussion.
Well, I am from the village of St. Paul's here in St. Kitts. Most folks know me in the music business as DJ Marisha. I have worked with Johnny Liebert over the years while he was manager at the ZIZ Radio. I fill in on the Christmas season, doing some overnight shows, trying to prep the carnival and stuff like that. Folks know me mostly as a promoter, promoting the bands and local artists here out of the Federation to North America and the UK, Canada, and likewise.
Okay, good. So I understand, from what I understand, you were away for a while and you recently returned to the Federation. So obviously you would have to have gone through a lot of what returning nationals and persons visiting the country have to go through.
Definitely.
So
I was one of the rabbits, one of the guinea pigs, as they would say.
Guinea pigs, right. So when did you come back?
I came in on the first flight via Miami, flight 318 that arrived on the 7th of November at RLB.
Right. What was your experience? Describe your experience before leaving the U.S. and coming here to St. Kitts.
When I listen to the Leadership Matters program weekly with the Prime Minister, and I also follow the COVID task force presentation on Wednesdays. And listening to their presentation, I was of the view that everything was basically in order, because of the fact that everything that they said was the protocol, to me, was workable. Anything in life you do, you have to make adjustments, whether you're going to be up or down. So I didn't really question anything. Prior to me coming here, I said to everyone that I give the government and the task force credit for what they have done. But coming here and experiencing what most travelers would experience, I find it very disheartening as a national, disheartening as a visitor, because our health and safety is just as important as anyone else out there. And not only the safety of the travelers coming in, I'm also concerned about the nationals or the folks, the residents living here that are on the front line in these quarantine facilities. When they come home, they could be bringing home COVID to their family and the community. And I'll break it down that you would understand where I'm coming from. So the process goes this way. According to the government, through Dr. Wilkinson and Dr. Laws and Mr. Samuels and the Prime Minister, is that there's a COVID website in place. I would hope by now, I've been complaining and updating for the past 3-4 weeks since I've been here. I would hope that some adjustments have been made to the website. But the website is not user-friendly. When you go on there to fill out the KN form that you fill in for processing your entry into the country, the first thing you have to do is log on to the KN, the COVID-19 website, and you go to the KN form where you're going to fill in for your request. And what that form asks for is, one, it asks for your basic information. In addition to that, it asks for you to upload a PCR negative test, which you would have to take within 3 days of arrival into the country. So therefore, if you're going to be traveling here on a Saturday, you would have to take that test on a Wednesday to get the result back within that time frame to present. In addition to that, you will update your passport data page with your picture. You must also have a hotel reservation number to put into the system to complete that form. Now, if you don't have a reservation number from a hotel to put into the system, your COVID test, your passport data form, you will not be able to complete that application. Once you put those things in, there's a final process that takes place. Once you're submitted, then you have to wait for a confirmation letter from National Security here authorizing you to enter the country, to enter the Federation. Now, my experience, like I've said previously in other media houses, throughout the US, you can travel domestically without any COVID test or anything like that. So you could leave from Atlanta, go to Miami, you could leave from New York, go to Miami. Just to set an example. But the flight from Miami to St. Kitts, which is the only flight that is available at the moment, when that final leg, you're going to have the flight attendant who is boarding the flight going to tell you to line up and present that letter. If you don't have that letter from National Security saying that you are approved to enter the Federation, you cannot board that flight. As a result, many of our nationals and visitors alike who had planned to come in on the 7th got stuck in Miami.
So were they aware that they had to add this letter before, or was there a mix-up?
Like I said, it's very confusing, and I am one of those people that was confused. And I don't think enough was done to market the information overseas. I think a lot was done to market the information here in the Federation, because there is a Leadership Matters program. There's a COVID briefing every Wednesday. But keep in mind, the folks in the Federation are not traveling to the Federation. So a better job should have been done to market this information outside there.
Right. So before you continue, were you aware, though, that you had to have this letter?
I was aware.
Okay.
The issue was, again, the impression you get based on these presentation on Leadership Matters and the COVID briefing is when you put in this information, it's like an instantaneously response. For example, I put in my request on a Thursday around midday. I am traveling on Saturday. And Friday evening, 5, 6 o'clock, I still have not received any communication from the National Security. Luckily, there was an immigration officer, I don't remember his name, but I had put in my home address in St. Kitts and the quarantine site address as in the two separate area. And he sent me an email to let me know that I need to switch and put in the correct information. So lucky for me, I had that email. I responded to him the Friday evening and asked him, what is the process for me to get this letter? Because I need to know whether I should travel to the airport without it. I should have received it by now. Maybe about an hour or two later, I received that confirmation letter that I am approved to enter the Federation.
So had you not known this immigration officer, you probably wouldn't have gotten the letter?
Correct. That is my view. I could be wrong, but with everything that I've experienced so far, that was my view.
All right, so you would have eventually gotten the approval and you'd have gone to the airport. So continue describing what transpired.
So we got to the airport, leaving out of JFK to Miami, like I said, was fine because we're boarding a regular domestic flight. The problem came when we get to Miami, that now everybody is sitting waiting to board this flight. And the lady announced that everyone need to line up and have their letter from National Security in order to board the flight. That is when we find out several people don't have this letter. And several people submitted their information and never got back that letter. I was giving Socrates a joke a couple of days ago. I told him, well, these days my mind is younger than my body. So I kind of slipped the day before I came down and had a little problem with my ankle. So I actually use a wheelchair to get around. So I happened to be sitting in the area next to two individuals coming out of Atlanta. Turned out later that they are 82 and 80-year-old husband and wife. And they too said they submitted their information the day before and never received this letter. So therefore, they will be stuck in Miami. And when I think of these people coming from Atlanta, getting stuck in Miami at that age for another week, because once they miss that flight, there's only one flight to St. Kitts, which means they're going to get stuck there. They're going to have to go get into a hotel. They're going to have to find a facility to do another COVID test because the regulation is that the test cannot be no more than 3 days old. I had Mr. Samuel's number, so I called him. Luckily, he was at the office. I give them credit for that because they knew it's the first flight. There are going to be difficulties, so somebody was there. And I explained to him what was going on. So he said that they didn't see the folks' information. Now, many people said they put in the information, and they're saying they're not seeing it. So it must be something wrong with the system for so many people to be complaining. The end result is I had to physically put the information in for these people. And
physicalizing over the phone with Mr. Samuel or on the computer again?
No, on the people's phone.
On your phone?
I used their phone. Luckily, they was able to go into their email and their phone, and I was able to extract the information and save it, and then we upload it. But I'm saying this is an 80-year-old and an 82-year-old. They cannot manage their way through a cell phone. So, and then it turned out that their daughter, I didn't realize was there, who is also an American Airlines staff that work at American Airlines, and she could not get the system uploaded. So if someone in that area that is working on a computer for a living and cannot maneuver the COVID website, imagine a normal person who are not computer literate like myself.
What's the website? Let me just have a quick look at it.
It's covid19.skn.gov, I think. Let me see if I could find it in my covid19.skn.gov or .gov /skn.
It's COVID-19, so is it the COVID-19?
Yes.
SKN.
.gov.
Okay, all right.
You find it?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
going to have a look at it. We'll continue.
Okay, so like I said, they might have made some changes by now because I have been on my social media asking, and I see some things presented on Wednesday night that they might have made some changes by now. The travel form was very hard to find, so I hope that by now that part is resolved.
Well, I'm looking at it now, and maybe I actually visited the site before, but this was a few months back. So maybe you probably, as you said, you probably would have had some changes. So I'm looking at it now. It has the travel protocols, daily report statistics, and I'm seeing a section for entry form.
Correct.
So when you went on it, was it like that?
No,
Or-
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I was looking at something that Dr. Laws presented on Wednesday, and based on what I saw on her report, and her program, if that is what is there now, that is what should have been there from the beginning.
Right. So they probably realized that there were problems before.
Because what was there when you got there on the site, you're seeing this form for someone if you're having difficulties paying your water bill, where you can log on and print out whatever and apply for help, stimulus to pay your water bill. Nobody coming from America to pay the water bill. They come in to enter the country. They want to see that form first. So I want to believe that somebody must have take heed and make the adjustment, which I give them credit for that, because that will go a long way. Even up to yesterday, there is someone living here whose daughter is coming in from North America that I had to walk through the same system. So I have not tried it lately. I plan to try it over the weekend and see, because I've been getting some calls between yesterday and today, but I've been on the road trying to get some other stuff done. Anyway, like I said, those two individuals, eventually I got them uploaded, and there was the last two to board the flight. Upon arriving St. Kitts, I was made to understand through Mr. Samuel's report that 81 passengers came in on that flight. Now, it was supposed to be around 120. So I knew people got stuck in Miami.
And it could be because of the entry requirement.
The entry requirement,
permission.
that's what the problem was. So my concern were at least 40 people is stuck in Miami. What have the government or the task force done to each of these people to help them out? Because now you're talking about not coming only to pay quarantine fees here in the Federation. You now have to go and find a hotel in Miami. Because if you try to fly back to the state you're coming from, that is a cost in itself. Now you're going to try and find a quarantine place that will give you the tests within that period that is required. So it was stressful in a lot of people. And I am somewhat disappointed in the task force. And I would go as far as to say disappointed in the government, the tourism department. Because tourism is our vehicle, our means of promoting the country, and tourism is down. And I think more could have been done in the past 7-8 months to get us ready. The other area I focus on real importantly was, I remember this big charade about they're putting down this welcome center and it's state of the art and what it's going to do. I look at the walkthrough with all the ministers from cabinet and everything, where they were taking pictures. When you walk in, you walk up to this thing like a tablet or whatever, you're going to take your picture, you're going to put in your information, you're going to check your temperature, you're going to be tested upon arrival. If you're negative, you're going to be able to proceed through immigration and customs onto your quarantine site. And if you're positive, you're going to be isolated in the isolation area. Everything looks good. So when I got off the plane, I see the big white building over there. I stood at the bottom of the jet bridge because I did not know where to go. Because when I look over, I see there's nobody by this white building. The building is there standalone. But yet,
And this is after you're at RLB? When you arrive at RLB?
At RLB.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, over to the old building, everybody line off over there. So when I realized everybody's moving towards the old building, I realized that the welcome center, as they call it, is not going to be used that day. So I proceed and follow through. The masquerade out there, jumping up and whatever. Again, they claim we are COVID people, we are infected. It doesn't matter to me the distance the masquerade out. I don't think they should be out there. That is my view. Then Melly is on the inside playing his steel pan. Again, I appreciate the music, I appreciate the steel pan, but I don't think this was the time.
What, was he wearing a mask?
Yeah, he was wearing a mask.
Okay.
But this was not the time for that in my view. There is better things that could have been done to show us our welcome than those kind of stuff, right? Anyway, we get into the building. If you're familiar with the arrival hall at RLB, when you enter the arrival hall, we normally go straight up to immigration and do our stuff. There is a room to the left that is called the where people like Junior them will go in. What do you call it?
The VIP room.
The VIP room, the big shot them, you know. So, I mean, I've been there before. I've been there before because when I came as a touring team from North America to the Police Sports Club, we was entertained there.
Okay.
And when I came some years back for the music festival under the guys of the tourism department under Dwyer Astafan, I was also entertained there. So I'm familiar with the area. Now, that area is turned into what you call an assessment. I would call it an assessment center because they build some countertops like what you would have in a shop with some, or in a bank with some plexiglass protecting the nurses. And they ask you basically health question like, are you feeling sick, or you have a cough? Have you been exposed to anyone with COVID? And most of the questions they're asking, some of it don't even make sense because if I'm exposed to someone with COVID, how would I know, right? So I answer the questions and then they asked me to give them my hand. They took my temperature here and then she said, you're okay. They gave me a number. Well, that number that they give you basically is attached to the taxi that will be taking you to your respective quarantine site. From there, we moved on to the immigration to check, then on to customs, and then out to the dispatching area where the dispatcher will put you into whichever taxi going to take you here. And that, again, I give them credit for because the receipt that they give you at the dispatching area, it actually tells you how much you pay the taxi for the transportation to the quarantine site. So there is no doubt what you will be. There is no doubt what you'll be paying for the transportation. The issue there with that I find though is that some people actually thought that the task force is picking up the tab for the transportation to the hotel, which I didn't expect that, but some people was expecting that, and that created a couple of havoc. Now, when I listened to Mr. Samuels on Leadership Matters the following Tuesday night, and also the task force presentation, I heard him reporting how smoothly everything went. Well, Mr. Samuels and myself knew that things didn't go smoothly in all aspects. We got here safe with the grace of God, and that was good. I appreciate that. But in terms of how things was done, it could have been done differently. Number one, this thing about the passengers arrived and was processed safely and went smoothly through the word he used, to the newly constructed welcome center. Like I said, the newly constructed welcome center wasn't used upon our arrival, haven't been used since. So why mislead people? So even if somebody was telling me that the government or the task force is misleading folks, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, I am a first-hand witness. I experienced the fact with the spin, the twist, and the lies. And I have no problem calling them out and tell them, let's do the right thing. If the welcome center was constructed for its purpose, and at the end of the day, it cannot fulfill its need, just tell the general public. I know of many buildings that was constructed throughout the world in North America, wherever, and couldn't be used. Because when the construction is over, and inspectors like me going to inspect them, things does not fall in line. So for the health and safety of the users and the workers, we don't pass it. So you have to stay there. So if something is wrong with the building, just tell the public.
Mm.
But don't mislead the public, say it was used and everything went smoothly. It wasn't used then. It didn't use last week. And I don't see it going to be used anytime soon.
Mm. How do you know it wasn't used last week?
Because
you had persons who
who came in
mm.
and those flights confirmed that to me.
Why do you think Mr. Samuel in this case would have indicated, or otherwise, from what you know, if the place is not ready, he would say, well, they still used it, even though that wasn't the case?
Because to me, it's more important to the task force and to me, someone in government or government in general, to portray this perfect handling of the COVID. There is no perfect handling of the COVID. Donald Trump, our president in North America, screwing up daily, but in his mind and in his followers' mind, he's doing the perfect thing. New York, who was the mecca of COVID, went down basically to, you could call it zero based on what we had, to where it was. And Donald Trump, who I don't believe had COVID, created his mess and started his super spreaders meetings. And look from then to now. Every day we set a record up there with how much people is dying.
Do you think people here in St. Kitts Nevis would mark the government down then, for lack of a better term, if they were to find out, as you're saying, no, that the Welcome Center was not used, even though that's what it was created for?
One of the problems I have with the folks in St. Kitts, and like I said to them when I met with Sakriti on Monday, I'm from St. Paul's. In the minds of some people, I am a Labour. Juni could tell you I don't do politics. Douglas will tell you I don't do politics. I call a spade a spade. And Timothy Harris is my friend. He knows I don't do politics. I will call a spade a spade. And I listened to certain conversations since I've been here. And you would find some of the supporters of unity, when you try to address the safety concerns that is going on, they don't want to hear about it. They're changing the topic. COVID does not know the party. COVID does not know the color. COVID does not know your age. COVID does not know whether it's a fete, a calypso show, a queen show, or a wedding or a funeral. COVID wants to be in everything. You know, you got some people who want to be in everything. COVID wants to be in everything in your life. And if these folks in St. Kitts and Nevis don't start listening and understand what is happening, we're going to be in for a very rainy day. They're talking about this vaccine, like it's a light at the tunnel. Even if there's a vaccine, these doctors should know how much years it takes to have a perfect vaccine. And even if a vaccine comes, when a vaccine will reach here. I heard some mention made by the Prime Minister how much thousands down payment and vaccine and whatever the case might be. They don't know what the effect of this vaccine is going to be. What happens is 6 months from now, a year from now, they find out that the vaccine is more dangerous than the cure, than the COVID. You know how much people already take that vaccine are going to be affected? I follow, over the years, many people talk about what is good for you. Tomato is good for you. Greens is good for you. Coffee is good for you. And then you hear another day, coffee is not good for you. Caffeine is not good for you. Women with pregnant should not this, should not that. It's a work in progress. It's science. And we just have to do the right thing. And I'm going to bring something to you, and I do not know if you want to take it into another stuff. But what I really want to bring to you is this. This is the first thing that really got to me. And when I say got to me, I was pissed off because I had no control over it. And when you see something is wrong, safety-wise, and you have no control over it, it is a very numb feeling. If you have control over something, then you can fix it. Imagine, I come in here from New York with a negative test, where I know that I've been locked down for the better part from March to now. I haven't done anything to get sick. And I leave North America, come here. And I'm put in quarantine at the Royal St. Kitts. They give you a sheet of paper with their protocols. And they're telling me when I get there, all new arrivals in quarantine have access to the swimming pool, the bar, the restaurant, and the game room area. Everybody who came in on that flight on the 7th can integrate in that area, back and forth. Nobody is tested upon arrival. So you would have to use your own common sense and don't integrate with anybody or get close to anybody. Because if one person there is sick, not only you, the traveler coming in getting sick, but all of those workers, the bartenders, the servers, the security, the constable, island constable, the task force, all of them, the people that take you to your room, the front desk, the taxi drivers, everybody is mingling with you. And I saw the entire task force at the hotel the following Monday. I came in on the 7th, they was over there on the 9th. I happened to be playing pool. I love to play my domino on my pool, entertain myself. I don't have to have a partner to do those things. I play them by myself. And I see the task force came in. And I tried to engage Mr. Samuels, and he gave me the slip. Mr. Cromwell, the police officer, and the manager for the hotel took the time out to engage me. And I explained to them, I said, what you guys doing here is wrong, you know. Mr. Henry said, what you mean? I said, I came in here with a negative test. I have my own private home in St. Paul's, locked down, nobody in there. I could have stayed here for the 14 days. I was locked down in New York for months. But you all bring me here, put me in this pen, like a pig pen, with all kind of other people. God knows what they have. And there's a possibility I can get sick inside here. So my health and safety is at risk because you guys choose to put me in here.
What was your response?
The hotel manager first said that it's a personal thing to do the right thing. And then Mr. Henry said the same thing. Officer Henry from the task force.
Which would you prefer, though? Well, I guess you've basically indicated what you prefer.
I would prefer to be home. I would be home safe.
You know you'd have to pay for security.
But this is the thing I am saying now. I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
Now, the island constable and the task force, they have been paid $1,720 per month, flat rate. Out of that, they're going to take whatever you all call Social Security and levy or whatever they normally take out of your check. So if you work out that $1,720 a month, which means they're making less than $10 an hour, And these people are assigned to these hotels that government have no control over what they charge, like Royal St. Kitts and the Marriott. So if government is paying these people, they are on government payroll, they are island constables, they are task force compliance officers, they are an arm of this police department. Why aren't these people attached to the police station throughout the island? And if people like me, who is a national, who have a home, that want to stay home, why can't those people be the people that come and check up on us and make sure that we are doing the right thing? Put a sign at each person gate who is on quarantine that anybody see them going in a place, they call the police and lock them up. Why are you giving these people that the government is paying to work in these facilities while you're asking me now, a private citizen, to pay a private security guard $20 an hour for 14 days, for 24 hours for 14 days. And that is why so many people out there cannot make it home. And the government was not clear on that either. It took weeks to get a straight answer. The first time I'm getting a straight answer out of the CMO, Dr. Wilkinson, the Prime Minister, and Samuels, is just this Wednesday. The Wednesday previous and this one, I'm seeing they come in a little more clean now. I don't want to take credit for it. But people call me and tell me that I'm the only person who took them on. So they have no choice but to come clean. It is not right in the sight of God for you to do this to your nationals. The impression that I'm getting is that the big companies, the people with the money, have more right to be here than the poor people, than the nationals abroad.
Your case that the government basically, because in the Caribbean, what you tend to see happen sorry, in the Caribbean, what you tend to see happen a lot of times is a government tends to do what another government does. And the policy for most of other Caribbean countries is the same. Nationals come in, have to pay for quarantine. I think probably the only difference is they are asked, if they choose home quarantine, they are asked to abide by the protocol, so they don't necessarily have to pay for private security. The government just basically trusts them that they will do the right thing. But outside of that, usually, once you're in a government facility, you have to pay for the quarantine. So could it just be a case where the government decide, well, look, Antigua is doing it, Jamaica is doing it, so let's do the same thing?
Well, I think even though they have you confused, because it's not every government that does that. For example, Barbados. You're coming to Barbados with a negative test. You are tested upon arrival, and you're locked down, whether it's for 24 hours or 48 hours, until that test is processed.
Well, you're locked down in a government facility?
Correct.
And do you have to pay for it?
Yes. Now, I'm gonna give you the second part of that, because I got some information someone sent to me last night, because people listen to my program and they send me information to disseminate, right? Mm-hmm. So Barbados, you're locked down for the period. So if your test take 24, 48 hours to come back, that's when you're locked down. If you come back negative, you're free to integrate. Jamaica, you're allowed to have a COVID test 10 days old once it's negative. You go to Jamaica, you go home. There's no quarantine.
Yeah, that's why I was using that as an example.
I know, that's why I said you have it a little bit. That's why you might hear you might have it a little twist up there, but you're on the right track.
Well, no, initially in Jamaica, the nationals had to pay for the quarantine. And there was an issue with the facility. Some of them were complaining about the facility and the food and stuff like that. Right. So that was the case. Right. But generally, and you know this for a fact, Caribbean governments tend to just say, well, that country doing it, so we will just follow the same. Or at least that's how it appears to me, personally.
Well, not in this case in St. Kitts.
Yes.
And in a lot of areas in St. Kitts, I can give them credit for what they have done. But when it comes to the safety aspect of things and the misleading information, when I listen to Mr. Samuels on more than one occasion, don't listen to the news media. They're spreading fake news. This, that. And I know for a fact that you are spreading fake news. While you're saying the media is spreading fake news. Come and talk to me face to face. Let's have a conversation. Let's do the right thing.
You're listening to Issues here on Freedom 106.5. It's 2:37 p.m. We're going to go to the phone lines in a bit, but let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take some calls. Mr. Marshall will be here so he can respond or interact with you based on his presentation, what he spoke about, his experience as a returning national coming back to St. Kitts and Nevis and experiencing what the process is like as it relates to the COVID-19 protocols. We'll be right back after these messages. We're back here on Issues, Freedom 106.5. I'm Andre Huey, and my guest is Mr. Marishaw, returning national to St. Kitts and Nevis, explaining or giving an insight into his experience returning to the island on the very first flight that came back that came here on the 7th of November. We're going to open the lines now to get your call for you to interact with him or to ask whatever question that may be on your mind on the subject. The numbers to call 662-1065, 465-6474, 465-0546. If you're based overseas, you want to use the U.S. line, you can call at 305-515-3099. Let's take a look at the Freedom Wall to see some of the comments there. Finally, SKB says, finally somebody talking about the nonsense that is going on in St. Kitts. Jersey says, square pegs in round holes. SKB also added, it has many people that does have emails, or it has many people that does not have email, or is not or is computer literate. They need to make this thing easier for citizens. Nonsense says, speak, my brother, speak. There's a lot of disinformation by Dr. Martin and others. And continues, it's only a money-making scheme. Truth says, good day. The gentleman on your program is speaking the truth about how things played out on arrival at RLB on November 7th. I was on that flight. I also heard of the head of the NEOC, Mr. Samuel, gave a report saying that everything went smoothly, and that's not so. SKB adds, they think I'll be coming to Freedom to air them out more, because it's a whole lot more to it. SKB sounds like someone who came back on one of those flights. No Name says, Andre, that gentleman is right on the money. I recently returned to the Federation, and like him, I too did not get an answer to enter up to the night before travel. I basically came to St. Kitts without getting a letter saying I can enter. However, they were expecting me when I arrived. It is said that the material used to build the arrival center at the airport is inadequate. Therefore, the rooms are too hot, even with full AC blowing. So it's too hot to occupy. Nonsense says, could you please say what a vaccine is and how long it is from another inspection? And I think there's one that I had skipped over. Let me see if I could find that. Okay, yes, Nonsense says, right, so foreigners have more rights than our born citizens. And those are some of the comments on the Freedom Wall. It is 2:43. Again, the numbers to call, 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546, or you can call the U.S. line at 305-515-3099. You before we went on the break, you were speaking about the process.
The various processes.
Right, and your experience at the quarantine center, which I want to explore a little bit more, but let me take this call. Good afternoon, you're live on Issues.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Marisha, good afternoon. This is Shokai.
Good afternoon, Shokai. How are you doing?
Boy, I learned a lot out of what you just said. And I can support you with the name you keep calling there. Every time you get in company with the Prime Minister, I believe he can lick his foot one day. Only he wants to praise the Prime Minister. Every time he gets close to the Prime Minister, he giving him all kind of praise. So it led me to believe that he's singing for his support. We have no problem at all with the Prime Minister. Let me make that clear. When we had 9 cases, the same gentleman said that we're making success. We have double 9 today and over. I can't stand listening to him, nor the officer you talk about at the hotel. None of them. Every time I come in on my TV radio, I shift my radio. Thanks for listening. I'm glad how you lay it out.
Thank you for your call and your contribution. So while we wait for some more calls, the point I was making earlier was the quarantine. So you were talking about the fact that, everyone was mingling, and you felt that shouldn't have been so because you came with a negative test.
Correct. My mic is
yes, your mic is on, yeah.
Yeah, so correct. What I'm saying is that my health and safety, I felt that I was placed in an unsafe condition without any choice. And the fact that I know we are under a state of emergency and I don't have any rights, I shouldn't be placed in that condition.
Mm. What else transpired? You were there for how long?
14 days.
14 days.
And what got me even more pissed off as the night progressed and it got boiling is that when I realized what is happening and I tried to speak to the hotel manager, they're explaining to me that I am there just as a guest. They have nothing else to do with us. They're just hosting us as a guest. We are the property of the health department. So that did not sit well with me. I contacted the task force since that's the only number I had. And they also informed me that they are not responsible for the people in quarantine, the health department though. So I asked for who is the person I need to speak to. They said the CMO, Dr. Laws. I asked for a number for Dr. Laws. No one can give me her cell phone. They only could give me the office number. They gave me two landlines. And believe me, I called those landlines for days. Up until today, I'm sitting here. I came out of quarantine on the 21st. Today's what, the 26th? I still have not.
Was that no one's answering the phone or you're not getting it?
No one is answering the phone. I didn't get anyone. The point I am making is this. We came into the Federation. We are forced into quarantine. We didn't go there voluntarily. It is the restrictions that was placed on us.
Well, let me ask this, because one of the information that was given to the public from the CMO was that persons had a choice between quarantine at a government facility or at a private location, the private home. And of course, at a private home, you pay for the security.
Can I ask you
you were not given that option?
Can I ask you a question?
Mm.
A poor man like me from St. Paul's have an option of paying $1,300 at Royal St. Kitts plus US dollars, 1,300 US plus $100 for a COVID test, 2 COVID tests, one upon arrival and one on the 14th day. So you call it $1,400. That's the choice I have. If I want to go stay in my own place that I don't owe anybody for, it's paid up for, I have to pay them over $7,000. Is that a choice? Would that be a choice for you? If you have to pay twice the amount of money to stay in your own house, would you go into your own house?
Considering the cost, no.
Yeah, that's what the situation is. So they didn't give me a choice. And I would stand by that.
All right, we're going to go back to the phone lines. We actually have an overseas line call. Good afternoon, you're live on Issues.
Good afternoon, DJ. What's up, DJ?
DJ, good job.
I cool, man. I listening to you. You're out and large. I'm something in my mind. You know, some people like me, poor people like me, when we travel, we count down to the last penny. So when I come home, I land at RLB, and I don't need a taxi. So, I mean, you're telling me that I have to spend $50 for a taxi if I don't want to?
Whatever the fee is, you cannot take any regular taxi, you cannot get your friend to pick you up. You only can travel in a certified COVID taxi that is approved by the task force. So you don't have that choice. They assign you to a taxi and you have to go into quarantine. Have a choice there either.
And I have to pay.
Yes.
That to me that sounds like them just try to put money in a certain people's pocket. I mean, I don't know if I've seen it correctly or what, but anyway, thanks.
Okay, thank you for your call. Speaking of taxi, because I meant to ask you about that as well, what was your experience like dealing with the transportation? Because that's the first point of contact outside of the immigration officer and the people at the Welcome Center.
I think the taxi end of it, that might have been the highlight of my trip, because everything went smoothly with the taxi. They actually mixed up which taxi I should go in. So the first taxi that took my paperwork, another gentleman came and they switched. And it turned out that the taxi that actually took me to my quarantine site was a friend of my son, Aston Williams, the dancing commissioner. I didn't even know he had a son driving taxi. So I was quite satisfied to spend my money with a friend's son. And the way he did his thing, asked me to sanitize and welcome me to the country like any stranger, give me all the information a taxi driver would. And again, I understand people out there asking taxi to make stops and whatever. I wouldn't do that to any person and put my life, their life, or anybody's life in jeopardy. So he took me from the airport to the hotel. Everything went smoothly, very professional, you know, air-conditioned taxi, clean, you know, and I have no problem with the taxi situation. The issue lies with the safety protocols that the task force and the CMO and Dr. Cameron them is feeding, and they got a very simple choice. This could be fixed, remedied easily, because I am not just calling out the wrongs that I see. I have the experience as a hazmat trainer, as a confined space trainer, as a health and safety trainer over the years. From 1987, I have been working in the health industry. I have trained from the top of the institution, the health institution, to the lowest job scale. We trained for these things before COVID even come into play. So it's very easy to resolve this issue without the spin and all of this stuff. I had to go public because I spoke softly. I spoke to them quietly. Nobody listened. So I had no choice but to go onto my Facebook page. And I honestly didn't expect it to make headway like it has been, because it seems as though everybody in the world now knows what's happening. They know who is DJ Marisha. And at the end of the day, the expensive hotels that is out there, like I think I was trying to explain to Joni earlier, I did not just come and complain about the high cost of the quarantine sites. I also came up with a remedy, a recommendation. My uncle have a place in Boyd's Village, Mill House Guest House, at Garvey's Estate. He have 17 rooms down there. And if you go to OT or any of those hotels, they cannot give him the competition with the view. And
yeah, it's a good. I've been down there.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I could say, I could give some good news that I registered it as a quarantine site. The task force came and visited today. And based on the conversation we had, I know they're satisfied. So it's up to them. The sooner that they give me the approval, is the sooner the nationals who are trying to reach out to me can get a lesser expensive site. Based on what the task force explained to me, they're asking me to be in line with what they're charging at the OTI, which I don't have a problem with. I had a very cordial conversation with them. So we're ready to go.
How much would that be? So someone, a returning national coming home, quarantining at the Mill House, how much would
it's
that
$500 for the 14 days.
For the 14 days.
Because you got your security and other stuff to pay. When you compare $1,400 to $500, you cannot beat it, and the accommodation comes with, trust me, you say you've been there, so you will understand.
Yeah.
I have stayed there, and anyone that comes there, they will enjoy themselves, they'll be comfortable, and the 14 days will be much better than locking up at OTA or these other places. So the folks that have sent in their requests, I have them on my list. And the folks that come is a first come basis. As a matter of fact, while I'm here and here.
Hold that thought. Let's take this call. Good afternoon. You're live on Issues.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. You're live.
Yeah.
Could you turn your radio down, please?
Is it EC or US?
US.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Someone just wanted to know if it was EC or US.
While I'm here, there is 2 messages came in from England, Leeds to be exact, that folks want to come in on I think it's the 10th or the 12th of December, and they want to know if the Garvey is going to be available by that date. Today is the 26th, we said. So it's up to the task force if they want to drag their foot or they want to accommodate their nationals, because we're ready to go. And I only did this because of my experience. I don't want anyone else to have to go through that.
Let me ask you, you gave one recommendation, and I want to ask you for some other recommendations based on your experience. What would you recommend? But hold that thought. Let's take this call. Good afternoon. You're live on Issues.
Oh, good afternoon. No, I was just trying to get the young man's number who is on.
Okay, Mr. Marshall, you want to give your number?
Yeah,
okay.
660-0195.
00.
Now, 660.
Yes.
660-0195.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Some other recommendations.
We have many people all over the globe in our consulates or our missions. That, to me, a lot of them is just getting paid with taxpayers' money and really not doing anything. Right now with COVID, is not much to do. Junior, don't laugh. You've been in New York with me and you know the deal. We've been to this. You know the deal, right? Whether they work in whatever position, this is the time for all hands on deck. And whatever model that the task force is using here, they need to stop have this thing about mission and tourism, 2 different job and whatever. Get these people to send information out so that people can get the proper information. I have a good friend in New York, and I'm going to say he's my friend because I have him as a friend. But he just getting paid. He's not doing nothing in the mission, Mr. Albert Pemberton. I asked him for some information more than 2 months ago that I could come home. If I was waiting on him, I wouldn't be in St. Kitts. The person that I will give credit to, after I couldn't get in touch with anybody for anything, something tell me the press secretary to the PM supposed to be the press secretary for all nationals. So if I send a request to her, she have a responsibility to respond to me. And I was correct. I sent 3 requests to her, and within 5 minutes she responded to me. And what she couldn't answer, she forwarded me to the right sources. And everything pan out. So I gave the press secretary enough credit for her work.
It's 2:57. We have about 3 more minutes to go.
By the way, I should mention her name,
Valencia Grant.
Valencia
yes.
Grant.
Right. I actually was going to mention her name, but you got me to it. So at least that's a bright spark in this whole situation. We have about 3 more minutes to go. So again, just some final words on maybe what you would like to see happen in the next tranche of returning nationals we may have coming? Because you talk about BA should be coming hopefully next month, and we still have more flights coming in this weekend, which I'm sure you might have a few returning nationals coming.
Well, Tuesday night, since I cannot seems to get any response from the task force or the health department, because like I said, nobody contact me during quarantine and nobody contact me since I've been out. I actually took the opportunity and reached out to the Prime Minister and request a meeting with him. I would hope that somebody get in touch with me sooner than later so that we could resolve these things that is happening.
All right, we have a call, so let's take a couple calls actually. Good afternoon, you're live on Issues.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm glad I got in. Let me first start by sending birthday greetings. Today is Earl Clark's birthday, you know.
Oh, it is. Happy birthday, Mr. Clark.
Yes.
I'm surprised he hasn't called in as yet.
You know what I mean? And nobody bigging him up. Anyway, Earl Clark, happy birthday. And tomorrow will be the birthday of Anthony Mills from the Association of Persons with Disability. And Mr. Earl Clark is one of the members. So to both of them, I want to send advance birthday greeting to Tony and happy birthday today to Mr. Earl Clark. And I want him to know that the association appreciates him. Mm-hmm. Now to Mr. Marisha, because somebody asked me, you said that you were directed to Royal St. Kitts, or you chose it?
I was directed.
Oh, I thought you had to I thought they said you had to have a reservation before you came. Because somebody was asking me, how do you get to choose where you go?
How do you get where you need to go? You seems to be someone, I listen to you many times on the programs I'm calling in.
Henry.
Sylvia, I know you. I listen to you weekly calling in on this radio station and seems to know a lot of stuff and you educate me a lot. So you're asking me a question, maybe I should let...
Somebody have somebody overseas, right?
Up there, please. I am saying, before I give any information, maybe you could tell me, something. If you don't know, then I could tell you the information. But if you know...
I'm telling you, somebody asked me if Royal St. Kitts was a government-designated quarantine place. So I told him, well, as far as I know, it's only OTI and anybody else go to anywhere else.
Okay, Sylvain, give me an opportunity to give you the facts as they are, and you can fact-check me.
I hope the person listening.
Give me the opportunity to answer you,
go ahead,
and you can fact-check me, okay?
No, not looking information for the person.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I want you to fact-check me, because what I'm giving you is the facts.
Uh-huh.
Government told us that the only facility that they have an arrangement with, where they come up with a price, is the OTI. And even at the OTI, you have to call an individual to book your room there. When I tried to book the OTI based on the information I got, the OTI didn't have any rooms available.
Oh,
the other hotels, the Royal St. Kitts, the Marriott, the Koi Hotel, and the whatever hotels, they all, you have to book with them independently, and they give you their price. I only end up at the Royal St. Kitts because that was the next cheapest hotel, the less expensive. I am a poor man from St. Paul's. So I took the next one in line.
Because the person told me that there is a relative of mine trying to get home a child, and they said that they're trying to call the OTI, but they can't get, nobody answering, they can't get to make a reservation.
That was one of my biggest complaints, that I spent so much money trying to reach the person at OTI, and because I could not get in touch with them, I ended up had to get in touch with locals here on the ground, respectively Austin Williams, the ex-commissioner, Clement Monaco Garro, Joyce Gladford, and Rodney Francis, the ex-police. I had to ask people.
Yeah, because the person said they've been trying to have everything else, but they can't get a booking.
And when they couldn't get a booking for me at OTI, which I was upset in the end, I'm happy that I didn't get there, they got me the Royal St. Kitts, which was the next in line.
All right.
I got a deal there for $1,281, call it $1,300 just for the room, and then you're gonna add all kind of other thing there. You got to supply your own food.
And next thing again, before time run out, you said that you weren't given the app. What is the situation with that? What's the position?
I can say to you all them fancy things they call out that they have.
What did they tell you about it?
There's no app. I just tell you the process. There was no app. There is no tracking device. There was nothing to download on your phone. There was no test upon arrival. There was none of those things. I think if I have the time, Junior, I would like to go back over it because...
No, it's the app I heard you today. So I said, they said that they were getting the app.
Yes, they told me that. Like I said, everything that was promised up front, I came down feeling good that we are ready. And I came here, and I can say to you that we are not ready. So when I started speaking, I wasn't cussing the task force. I wasn't cussing the government. I tried to speak silently, and nobody seems to want to hear me. So I am saying for this health and safety of the Federation and the people that's coming in and the folks working in this quarantine site and the front line, I need to speak to somebody sooner than later. Otherwise, COVID going to end up on the street of St. Kitts. And I'm going to tell you why I said that. Those 2 cases that came in last week that they test and found out the same day, could you imagine that those 2 people end up in the hotel and mingle with the other people who are in quarantine and the workers, and those workers brought that home to their kids or their family, and they end up on the street of Bastille?
And it also put the owners on the workers too, you know, and they think to protect themselves.
But we, the government, and I say we because I'm part of it.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, we have a responsibility.
Now that you're spoken, because sometimes they themselves get careless. And they say, oh, well, the people in quarantine and the people negative.
You know, but
and they let down their guard.
We just have to take the politics out of it and do the right thing. Somebody in government, somebody in the task force, somebody in the health department need to get in touch with me and other travelers that came in who was in quarantine and try and make sure that whatever things are in place, that they fix them, because there's too many cracks.
Miss Henry, we have to leave it here. We're out of time.
All right, then.
Well, thank you very much.
Happy birthday again to Earl Clark.
Yes.
And tomorrow for Tony Mill. God bless.
God bless. Thank you for your call. We have to wrap it up there because we're out of time. But certainly this was an eye-opener for a lot of people, as some people are commenting on the Freedom Wall and even on the phones. And it would be interesting to see what transpires after this, because it's not just enough to talk. We want to see
There got to be some action.
Some action as well.
We're going to end up with some serious problems in the country.
All right. Mr. Marshall, thank you for being on the show.
So, my good people, that was the interview with Brother Andre Huey at Freedom FM at the request of the Big JL, following my release from quarantine on the 21st of November 2020. But the situation is nobody wanted to hear me then, you know, because with all of the warning that I gave to them about what was transpiring in the quarantine and the non-protocols, the double standards, people coming into the country who did not fill out papers but was able to board a plane within the region or internationally. I had people bragging that family members of theirs test positive and was able to come into the Federation because they make a phone call. These are the double standard that was going on. And my second visit to the Federation 6 months after, just to see how things had improved. The folks at the Royal St. Kitts did not even want to know the name Marisha, because they was very upset with me for my reporting while I stayed there. So that is how I met my new people over there at the Wally. And I would always thank Faith and John and the good people there at the Wally Resort, because they graciously accepted me and treated me with respect on that end over there, and the Sister Island Nevis. But I came in on a Saturday, and at that time, I think we had some 43 cases, nothing was active. And some gentlemen just came in from Argentina to do business with whoever, contacts to government, friends of government, whatever. And all hell break loose. And the same things I warn the nation about, the same things I warn everybody about took place. Now, there was a gentleman by the name of Superintendent Henry at the time, who was the lead spokesman for the task force from the police. And positive cases hit the streets of St. Kitts and Nevis. Several people died. People actually was identified as cause of death was COVID. So let's take a listen to Brother Cromwell when all hell broke loose following my appeal to do the right thing.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon to all listening to this broadcast via whatever means. The COVID-19 task force has confirmed reports of persons who are confirmed COVID-19 cases in isolation has been seen in public at business places in Bastille over the last 2 days of limited operations. The task force takes a very dim view of persons who act responsibly and puts the public at risk. The persons in question have since been placed in government quarantine facility pending their recovery. The Commissioner of Police has directed that these incidents be investigated with a view to bring criminal charges against these persons if necessary.
So my good people, I play all of these clips to bring us back to where we were. Just a few short years ago, what we were dealing with, a government that was dishonest, a government that in my view was corrupt. All kind of nonsense went on. This Easter weekend gone by, everybody is having their fun and everything and they forget where we were. My good people, continue to love your neighbors, love your brother, love your sister. Call the politics how you see it, not because of what you're benefiting. Our country first, and then man. Our country first, and then man, not government. Our country first. And with that, I'm going to ask my boy Swallow to give you the message for me. Just listen to the lyrics. I know the music is nice, but check the lyrics. yeah. The late great Flying Swallow. My country first. Then get Davis every time.
Hope you understand now I state me case. It is obvious, it is all of us, and we have to make haste to propel the country to its height with combination of plenty tact and fight. Some people do not decide to help, but they sit and line every day. They all intention to squeeze the nation and obstacles in the way. All late in the future, we must be the pinch if we let this country go down inch by inch. We must keep the country on wheel and have the entire engine running still. That's how I feel. Let me hear you sound your voice for the land. If you love this land, get up and show the world where you stand. This is our land. Now the country needs you more than before. This is our land. Where you want to stifle the country for? If you love this land. I hate anything that resembles corruption. I hate anything that resembles depression. I hate anything that will make this country fall. So rise and shine when the country's duties call. Let me hear you sound your voice for the land. If you love this land, get up and show the world where you stand. This is our land. I never sing anti-government song and cuss the country where I belong. It is my country first and then mine.
Oh yeah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Nice one, the King Swallow. The Flying Swallow. Rest in peace, my brother. You know, every time I think about those dark days of COVID back in 2020, 21, when we had to deal with that corrupt government, that Team Unity administration, water still come to my eyes because I cannot believe that we had a government that was so heartless, that did not care about the people, but preaching all of this love. And people actually believe them. But thank God for the dawn of a new day under a caring Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Chu. Good evening, my brother. The Flying Swallow, dawn of a new day.
An uprising nation could never be a nation when undoubtedly it's heading in the wrong direction. We need cooperation just to solve the problem, otherwise things will remain the same. If we let frustration and hopelessness prevail, by all means the nation is going to fail. With a little practical thoughts and some positive action, we will overcome our own division. We need a sense of purpose, a sense of community, and a welcome hope of sincerity. When we move the clouds that block the flow of progress and positively show we must gain success, cause the war wouldn't take us to a goal. Its cooperation, I'm sure, could bring the problems under control. Only when we start to see eye to eye, we will move to higher heights by and by. Only when we stop all this backbiting, we will have a true country progressing. When we work together through that stormy weather, when we file our motion into one direction, we will definitely be opening up our eyes to see that dawn. Beautiful dawn of a new day.
The mighty Swallow. Rest in peace, my brother.
Hatred and suspicion, vice, poverty and crime would only put this place in plenty turmoil. A little time and patience, good public relations, bound to uplift the character of this this nation. If we to determine nation's future, we must fight to get conditions better. Success must come either by force or by will, cause we have plenty room for improving still. We can't let this country's plan lay in ruin, cause all of us will end up suffering. It's a long, long way and rough road to travel, but we should be all willing and able. We can't let this country wait by day and sleep by night without gold. It's a monument for third world. Only when we start to see eye to eye, we will move to higher heights by and by. Only when we stop all this backbiting, we will have a true country progressing. When we work together to the stormy weather, when we file our motion into one direction, we will definitely be opening up our eyes to see that dawn, beautiful dawn of a new day.
Yeah, man. The man, there's a fire. Uh-huh.
Some people real heartless in every way. They do nothing else but make this country black every day. Their efforts are fruitless, their poor production. They do not believe in righting the country's wrong. The past would make the future impossible if we decide to fight and struggle. Although Mother Nature turns against us sometimes, this country nevertheless should be on supply. We need that love that comes from deep within. If we should see this place improving, it's not by size this country will rise or fall. All health is a good chance for survival. Self-respect and pride along the way is a step forward, I say, to see the dawn of a rising day. Only when we start to see eye to eye, we will move to higher heights by and by. Only when we stop all this backbiting, we will have a true country progressing. When we work together through the stormy weather, when we file our motion into one direction, we will definitely be opening up our eyes to see that dawn, beautiful dawn of a new day.
Yes, man, that's the great, the King Flying Swallow. I see my boy online there, brother Cameron Wilkinson. Dr. Wilkinson, welcome to the ride. It's been a while since we have communicated, and I think it's time that we have that conversation, that post COVID conversation. Let's talk the things and everything. You know, like I said previously, you're one of those people that I give high grade and respect, because whenever I reach out to you, you reach out to me and give me the satisfaction that was required at the time. But we were treated like some animals by the former administration, and I know you guys had to report to the higher ups. So no love lost, respect every time. Gonna drop a few ads here and try to get out of here. It's now what, 9 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. However, you get a few minutes over time because of the importance of me bringing those clips. So let's take a listen to my boy there, my boy, Brother Cabo, over there in the Fountain area. Take a quick listen.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere. while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over. You got the food all over.
Yes, Carbo have the food all over. As a matter of fact, Carbo just introduced a new initiative. Carbo says any organizations or society of any group size, at least 6 members, who come to Carbo's, such a group will get a 25 Carbo delicacy goat water for $15 offer. It's only for the month of April. Call me 3 days in advance so I can be prepared, properly prepared to accommodate you. The number is 869-663-9694. That's 869-663-9694. So check out my boy Carbo over there in Fountain. And don't forget my girl here, Sister Carmen over there at Shirlane, right at the ferry terminal there, the West Line ferry terminal there in Bastia, downtown there. Take a listen to what Sister Carmen have for you.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and Sundays. Opposite the car shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
Hey. Yes, that's the girl, Carmen. Well, let me drop my boy Malvern comes here of the Spectrum Band, telling you a few things about DJ Marish. I'm going to run this clip straight to fast because was too caught up earlier to make any changes. So let's go with the clips.
This is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music. Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
I know it.
Yes, man. So that is my boy there, Malvern, bigging me up and letting the folks know where to find me. There's some clips that we're not going to get to play this evening because I'm definitely not going deep into the overtime, but just take a listen and get an idea what this program is all about.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marisha's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marisha. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marisha, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marisha. Log on.
Yes, that's the
song. Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marisha's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marisha. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marisha, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marisha. Log on.
Yes, that's the DJ Marisha channel there. Log on to YouTube, find the DJ Marisha channel, subscribe and hit that bell as we transform to YouTube. I also want to big up the Island Purified Water, the good water people there in Newton Ground, St. Kitts. I want to thank them for keeping the DJ hydrated whenever he's in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Brother Powell, the wife and kids and workers, thank you very much for keeping DJ hydrated. I also want to big up my boy there over in the Frigate Bay area, the man Michael Clark there at the Jamrock restaurant. Don't forget to support Michael Clark. Also my boy there, Marshall up the hill. Lovely food, lovely entertainment there at Marshall's. Also my uncle there down at Boyd's, Trinity, Garvey's Estate. Check him out at the DJ Marisha Center. My cousin Gloria there at the Smart Fit. Lovely clothing, new clothing are there. Just check him out and let her know that DJ Marisha Center. There's a location right on Central Street there, there, the old Simaco building next to Skelec. Just tell her DJ Marisha sent you. Also, there's one down on Keon Street, right off 4th Street. Check her out there. I want to big up folks like the man Romeo Paris. Good evening. How you doing? Sister Abigail Harrigan Archibald. How you doing? Annette Frank, welcome to the ride. Everson Powell, Agatha Libard, Rosita Pontine, my girl there, Sister Hazel Blackston, Naomi Ward. Gwyneth Marisha, how you doing? Hope all is well. I want to big up Beverly Marisha. I want to big up my folks there over in the Tobago area. Gloria Beard, Victor Beard, Melissa Beard and team. Also my girl there, the missionary, Deborah Wallace, Roger Wallace. I heard you had a big birthday there last week. You didn't invite me for a drink. You know, we have to have a virtual drink, but Roger, to celebrate your birthday. Over there in Trini, my boy there, brother Daniel and Chanel and the grandkids. I hope all is well with your guys. I want to big up again one more time my brother Ike, the engineer that keep me alive here. And a Wednesday afternoon without brother Ike, this program would not be anything. Sister Cora Bennett, thanks for your continued support in keeping the program alive and lively. Good evening, Sister Ann Farrell Smith. Hope all is well with you wherever you are. Want to big up the man Joseph Hendrickson. Jeanette Grell, good evening. Romello Jeffers, hope all is well with you. Thanks for your support. The man Elvan Ellie, good night to you and the wife. The man Alvan Brown, hope all is well with you. The man Django, thanks for the sharing and caring. Also Sister Avi Lavi Gums there, thanks for the sharing. I want to big up my boy Astro. I haven't talked to my boy Astro in a bit. I have to heal up my boy Astro, see if he have a drink for me there. Culturama is coming up. Should be getting some things organized in Nevis for the Culturama. My boy Mackie Truss. Good evening. Hope all is well. Brother Daniel over there in the Nevis area, the big farmer. Thanks for your continued support. Want to touch my boy Glendale Herbert. How are you doing? Brother Cozier. Hope all is well. The man Patrice Nisbet. You guys got to get yourself ready to clean up Nevis. Nevis needs some serious attention. So we got to get our act together. Tamara, good evening. Sister Lynn, good evening. Hope all is well. Tamika. Sister Nesta, how are you doing? Joycelyn, hope all is well. Sister Tracy Jeffers, Tracy Powell. Sister Bessie, I understand you're home resting. Welcome home. Nice. Big up the man Richard. Welcome to the Federation. Well, we're going to drop the unofficial song shortly by the late great King Harry, and I want to drop that track. It's the bounce, the music is very nice, but just take a listen to the lyrics. Lyrically, you know, very powerful song. Our country needs us now more than ever. I want to big up the man Miko, the King Ginger, the King Chubby, my boy there, brother Aston Williams. How is Laura Williams and team, the man Hendrickson. Also want to touch my boy, brother Francis Leah, the man Luther Kelly, Julian, Fiona. How is Sharon and John and the crew. Hope all is well with you guys. Also want to big up my cousin there, the man Craig Sugars. How are you doing? The man Albert Morris. How are you doing? AKA Twinkie, Catherine Morris, Louise Mull, and the team there. Want to big up my boy Jason. How about the man Ruben? Sister Mary Clark, Sister Senator Joel Clark, the man Theo Clark, Taju, and the team. I want to thank Sister Mary Clark for her continued looking out for the DJ, making sure the DJ have a lovely Sunday dinner. So, you know, some folks look out for the DJ. Some folks actually look out for the DJ. Some folks just think I am okay and they don't need to look out. So I want to thank Sister Mary Clark for taking the time out and making sure she messaged me and make sure that I have a Sunday lunch. So appreciate it. We're going to drop the unofficial anthem in a bit. But before we do that, I also want to touch my cousins there in the UK. Brother Jerry Hutchinson, Sister Jennifer, Sylvia, about the man Clive. Hope all is well with your Sister Janet, Charlene Daniel, and team there over there in the UK. My sister there, Sister Cicely Brown, Pastor Brown, hope all is well with you. So let's drop this track here by the late great, the King Arrow. I want to big up the Arrow family there, the man Lord Kent. How are you doing? Hope all is well with you. My son there, Jeff Roy Jr. in the LA area. This one is called Arise by the late great King Arrow.
Would you stand up and see your country down? unification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Oh yeah.
Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, that's the sound of the late great King Arrow. Good evening, Sister Viola. How are you doing? Hope all is well. I want to touch my girl, the Haley, over there in Scotland. What's the temperature there in Scotland today? Also want to touch my godmother there, Sister Joyce, and Brother Bedford there in the Florida area. My cousin Andy. The man, Jerome Vanterpool, the Lord Ranger over there in the UK, in the London area, the man Mighty Pat there in St. Croix, Virgin Islands. The barbecue man, the man Giza, how you doing? Hope all is well. Brother Pillar, set up. How you guys doing? I also want to big up my baby girl. My baby girl and I had such a conversation last night. She was just glowing. She couldn't control herself. How she loved her daddy. Lots of fun she had with her daddy last night. Also want to big up my boy there, the man Ronald Hendrickson. Hope all is well with you. Eustace Hendrickson, how are you doing, my brother? Hope all is well. Everson Harris over there in the Toronto area. Caitlin DeGuaya, how are you doing? The man Douglas Watley, the man Carlton Duport. I just want to thank all you folks, all your online viewers, for your continued support. Without you coming online on a Wednesday evening, there is no program, no one to speak to. I want to touch Dr. Morton. I hope all is well with you. The age there, whether God will can, hope all is well with you. Honorable Prime Minister, you and your team. Enough love and respect. The man Steve Mills, Brother Steve Carty, Curtis Cook, Ike, and the team. The man Randy Rascal Monarch, Brother Everton Ogaro, how are you doing? Everett Ogaro, the man Kibo, how are you doing? Hope all is well with you guys. Well, you know, every good thing have to come to an end. So we're gonna have to call it a night. See you back here next Wednesday, same place, same time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. as we take it to another level. I want to touch my partner there, brother Wayne Ogaro. Haven't talked to you in a bit, my brother. Need to reach out to you and have a chit chat, see how life was going. He was very instrumental in my doings there during the COVID area with those live stream virtually. So I want to big up my folks in Anguilla as well, Sister Stacia, Casilla, Barbara over there in the Puerto Rico area. Want to big up my Washington family there in Anguilla as well. So I want to touch my girl there, Sister Rachel there in the Montserrat area, Sister Sarah and team. Hope all is well with you guys. Precious. Hope all is well with you all. So until such time, my good people, we'll call it a night. And